For decades, getting that permanent resident status or Eijusha was the ultimate goal. It was like getting a golden ticket to freedom here in Japan. Today, let's talk about an update that affects every single foreigner planning to stay in Japan long term. Hello guys! Welcome back to our channel, Gaijin World. Everyone looked at it as a terminal visa, or basically a green card equivalent. Once you obtained it, you were practically untouchable. It insulated you from almost all immigration scrutiny. You didn't have to worry about job changes, visa renewals, or pretty much anything unless you messed up big time. And when I say messed up, I mean serious criminal activity, like committing a crime that lands you in prison for more than a year. Aside from that, you were set for life. It gave us the stability to buy houses, get loans, and plan our retirement without looking over our shoulders. But let's dive into the official rules from the Ministry of Justice because they are strict. To get this status, you need two things. First, good conduct, which means no criminal record, and yes, that includes repeated traffic violations. Second, sufficient assets. You need to prove you can feed yourself. They want to be 100% sure you won't become a burden on the Japanese public. Generally, they are looking for an annual income of around 3 million yen for a single person, plus more if you have dependents. They need to see that you have a stable life ahead of you, not just for today, but for the future. And critically, your presence here must be deemed in the interest of Japan. That's the catch-all rule. Now, let's talk about the timeline because this is where many people get confused about when they can actually apply. The golden rule is 10 years. You must have lived in Japan for at least 10 years consecutively, but within that 10 years, you need to have been working on a proper work visa for at least 5 years. You can't just be a student for 10 years and apply. You need that work history. And a major warning for our friends on specific visas. This 5-year work requirement usually excludes the technical intern training and the specified skilled work 1 visas. Time spent on those visas often doesn't count towards the work visa portion of the requirement, so be careful. Now, this is the part that trips everyone up. Public obligations, You cannot have any fines or jail time, obviously. But more importantly, you must be perfect with your payments. Health insurance, national pension, residence tax, everything must be paid and it must be paid on time. Even if you pay everything in a lump sum right before you apply, if you were late in the past few years, immigration will evaluate that negatively. They check your payment history strictly, often looking back 2 years for pension and up to 5 years for taxes. One late payment can ruin your chances. Also, you can't apply if you only have a 1-year visa. You generally need to hold the longest visa term available to you, usually a 3-year or 5-year visa at the time of application. If you keep getting 1-year renewals, you aren't eligible for PR yet. And naturally, you shouldn't be a risk to public health. No infectious diseases that would endanger the public. But hey, if you are married to a Japanese national, listen up, because the road is much smoother for you. If you are the spouse or child of a Japanese national or a permanent resident, you get a huge break. You are actually exempt from the strict good conduct and sufficient assets requirements. They assume your Japanese family will support you. This means you don't necessarily need to prove you earn 3 million yen on your own, provided your household income is stable. They prioritize family unity over your individual bank account, which is a massive relief for many families here. The same leniency applies if you are a recognized refugee or have special protection status. But guys, listen closely, because the laws changed significantly in 2024 and the permanent residence isn't as permanent as it used to be. On June 14, 2024, the government amended the Immigration Control Act. This was driven by massive political pressure. With Japan's aging population, the social security system is straining and they want to ensure every single resident is contributing their fair share. They introduced a mechanism that was previously unthinkable. The power to revoke, actually take away your permanent residence if you fail to pay your taxes or social insurance premiums. Before, you just got a reminder letter. Now, you could lose your visa. This fundamentally redefines what PR is. It's no longer a status you achieve and keep forever. It's a privilege, conditional on your continuous financial good standing. You are effectively on probation for life regarding your taxes. The government's logic is simple. If you don't pay, you are technically a burden on the state's finances. And since PR requires you to be in Japan's national interest, not paying means you no longer meet that requirement. It's harsh, but that's the new reality. Now let's look at the fast tracks. because nobody wants to wait 10 years if they don't have to. If you are married to a Japanese person, the 10-year rule disappears. You just need to have been married for 3 years, and get this, you don't even need to live in Japan for all 3 of those years. You just need to have lived here for the most recent 1 year. So if you lived abroad together and just moved back, you can apply very quickly. If you hold the long-term resident visa, this is often for people with Japanese ancestry or divorced spouses with kids. You need to have lived here for 5 years or more. It cuts the wait time in half compared to a standard work visa. There is also a special category for people recognized for making major contributions to Japan. In diplomacy, economics, or culture, if you win a major award or do something huge for the country, you might only need 5 years. But the most common fast track for workers is the highly skilled professional point system. This is a game changer. If you score 70 points based on your salary, age, education, and Japanese ability, and you have maintained those 70 points for the last 3 years continuously, you can apply for permanent residence. You don't need to wait 10 years. 3 years is incredibly fast for a PR application anywhere in the world. You will need to prove you had 70 points 3 years ago and that you still have 70 points today. Things like passing the JLPT N1 or getting a salary raise can bump your points up, so keep checking your score. But wait, it gets even faster. If you are a high earner or highly educated and you score 80 points or more on the scale, you are on the super fast track. With 80 points, you only need to reside in Japan for 1 year. That is virtually instant in immigration terms. You come here, work for a year, and boom, you can apply for permanent residence. Just like the other rule, you prove you had 80 points 1 year ago and still have them now. If you are a high-skilled IT professional or researcher, this is absolutely the path you should take. So please, calculate your points. It could save you 9 years of waiting. Okay, now we have to talk about the scary stuff again. The new revocation guidelines. How will they actually enforce this? We know they can revoke your visa now, but will they? The Immigration Services Agency has released proposed guidelines to clarify exactly who they are targeting. They aren't going after everyone. They have proposed a 2-part test to determine if a non-payment is deliberate. They want to separate the people who are struggling from the people who are just cheating the system. The key word here is deliberate. They are looking for malicious intent. If you simply forgot one payment and fixed it immediately, you probably don't need to panic. But here is the test they will use. Condition 1. You are aware you need to pay, and this is crucial, you actually have the money to pay. Condition 2. You have no unavoidable circumstances stopping you. Revocation applies only if both are true. You have the cash in the bank, you know the bill is due, but you just decide not to pay it. That is what will get your permanent residence cancelled. So, what protects you? What counts as an unavoidable circumstance? The guidelines actually list specific examples that will shield you from losing your status. First, natural disasters. If you are a victim of an earthquake, typhoon, or tsunami and you lose your property or assets, that is a valid excuse. They won't kick you out for that. Second, severe illness. If you are hospitalized or have a serious medical condition that physically prevents you from working or going to pay your bills, you are protected. Third, involuntary unemployment. If your company goes bankrupt or you are fired through no fault of your own, that counts. You simply don't have the capacity to pay, so you fail the first test. However, you can't just stay unemployed forever. You need to show you are actively seeking work or that you have filed for official exemptions at City Hall. You need a paper trail showing you are trying. This distinction is vital. It means poverty itself isn't a crime, but negligence is. They have to prove you are malicious, but you have to prove you are responsible. The burden of proof may fall on you. If you can't pay, do not just ignore the bill. Go to your ward office, talk to them, and get an official exemption or deferral. That paper could save your visa. They are specifically targeting malicious intent. They are looking for repeat offenders, people who miss payments over and over again, or people who owe huge sums of money. If there is clear evidence that you have no intention of paying in the future, like you are hiding assets or ignoring warnings, that is when they will move to revoke your status. But even in the worst case scenario, they might not deport you. They might simply downgrade you from permanent resident to long-term resident. This means you can stay in Japan, but you lose the permanent status. You'll have to go back to immigration every 1 or 3 years to renew your visa, just like in the old days. It's a demotion, not necessarily deportation. And if they call you in for an interview and you immediately pay back all your outstanding taxes, they might decide you aren't malicious after all and let you keep your PR. so fixing it helps. One scary note though, past debts can apply. Even if the law is new, they will look at your history. If you have been dodging taxes for years, you are definitely on their radar now. So, when does this all kick in? The agency is gathering feedback right now. They plan to finalize these operational guidelines by the fall of 2026. The strict enforcement is expected to fully start in April 2027. This gives you a grace period. You have time right now to go to City Hall, check your records, and fix any unpaid bills before the crackdown starts. Despite the protections, many experts are worried. They say this turns the most stable visa in Japan into something unstable. It's causing a lot of anxiety in the foreign community. The concern is that guidelines can change easier than laws. But the best advice right now is simple. Be a good resident, pay your bills on time, and keep your records organized. Alright guys, that is the massive update on permanent residence. It's a lot to process, but knowledge is power. Go check your pension books and tax slips today. If you found this helpful, please smash that like button. It really helps the channel. And subscribe to Gaijin World for more survival tips and updates on life here in Japan. Check out our driving test guides and other videos on the screen now. Thanks for watching, stay safe, pay your taxes, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!